With the Callisto protocol being released in around a month, in this video, I will be covering everything you need to know about this heavily anticipated, creepy, and disturbing upcoming horror game. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So firstly, let's go over what exactly this game is about. If you have seen a decent amount of gameplay, then it is no surprise to you that this game takes heavy inspiration from the Dead Space series. It is a gruesome and gory third-person survival horror game with stomach-churning levels of dismemberment, awesome sci-fi locations, and advanced weaponry that is used to defend yourself against terrifying enemies you will encounter. The game's premise is as follows. Set in 2320, the Callisto protocol takes place in a prison called Black Iron Prison, based on Jupiter's dead moon Callisto. This dead moon is a real natural satellite and the third largest moon in the solar system, but scientists also think that it might have a subsurface ocean of liquid water and could therefore be potentially habitable for humans in the distant future. The game follows Jacob Lee, who was rescued from a wreck and taken to the Black Iron Prison as an inmate. Jacob's past and his current predicament remain slightly mysterious, so part of the game will undoubtedly involve an exploration of just how he found himself in this nightmarish scenario. During the game, Jacob must undergo a harrowing fight for survival as the moon becomes overrun with a mysterious outbreak. Other inmates and even the prison guards start to turn into mutated creatures called biophage, which Jacob must face as he attempts to escape. The prison that Jacob is held captive in is run by the United Jupiter Company, and a few recent glimpses of the game have suggested that they may have more in mind than just running a detention facility. Jacob must uncover their dark secrets, which will most likely reveal the source of what's causing all of these inmates to mutate. Now, just recently, an interview was held with the director Glenn Schofield, where he revealed some more important details for the game. It has been said that the full game will take around 12 to 14 hours to complete. Schofield also tells us that the game's story will be told through combat, in the environments both above and below the surface of Callisto, and via cinematics implemented with all of the action. He stated one way we tell the story is through other characters via cinematics, and we have around 45 minutes to an hour of that alone. There's a lot of storytelling in there, in between the tension and the hard stuff, and a very rich story at that. So now we need to dive into the gameplay, and luckily for us, just recently, Striking Distance Studios, the company behind this game, has explained some of the core elements of the combat system in the Callisto protocol. It has been said that the game has a mixture of ranged and melee combat powered by the GRP or grip mechanic. Enemies need to be taken down efficiently and accurately in order to not get into too much trouble. If left unchecked, enemies will begin to experience mutations. These mutations will make them far deadlier, more powerful, and generally harder to kill. QuickTime events and various cinematics will also be present, and missing any of them will result in death, as to be expected. Now, throughout the many clips of gameplay shown off, it has been revealed that Jacob will have access to a pistol for long-range combat and a baton for close-quarters combat. Jacob will also be able to use a weapon called the GRP, which allows you to pick up enemies, which introduces many uses with the weapon. The player can use these grabbed enemies as meat shields, throw them into fans, or into other enemies. Now, aside from the many weapons at Jacob's disposal, there has been a clip that shows Jacob sneaking behind an enemy to assassinate them, which shows that there will be some sort of stealth implementation in the game. It has also been shown that the player will obtain a currency known as Callisto credits throughout the game, which will be used as a currency for the game's skill tree to upgrade the player's different means of combat, including stealth, melee, and weapon upgrades. Now, the enemies themselves have been shown to use a few different combat mechanics. It has been shown that they will be able to grab a hold of Jacob, which will trigger a QuickTime event. They can also be seen shooting what looks to be some sort of acid at Jacob from a pretty long range. Overall, it seems like there will be plenty of variety when it comes to combat for this game. Another big takeaway for the Callisto protocol will be its gross and disturbing environment. During exploration, the player will travel through dirty and slimy water, blood and guts, and alien goo. The prison itself will be home to various traps that can immediately kill Jacob if the player isn't paying attention, requiring the player to stay alert at all times. These trap scenes will be very gory for many. There was one clip shown off in specific that shows Jacob flowing down this tunnel at a dangerous rate of speed. As this scene played out, the player was unable to dodge a fan, which then causes Jacob to get ripped in half and killed instantly by the blades. It's no secret that this game is going to follow in Dead Space's footsteps by showing visceral and brutal death scenes in which the protagonist can die due to environmental hazards or be executed by the game's monsters, which will really help in making the game much more terrifying and disturbing. Now lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the information we have for the Callisto Protocol. The game will release on December 2nd for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, the Xbox One, and PC via Steam and the Epic Game Store. Pre-orders are available now for the Callisto Protocol, and you can order one of these three versions: the Day 1 Edition, the Deluxe Edition, and the Collector's Edition. The Day 1 Edition has the game, the Retro Prisoner character skin, and 2 Retro Prisoner weapon skins for $60 on the PC, or $70 on consoles. For an additional $20, the Callisto Protocol's Deluxe Edition will include everything from the Day 1 Edition, as well as the game Season Pass, which will include extra story DLCs. The most expensive edition, being the game's Collector's Edition, will be $250 and will include everything from the previous editions, as well as a statue of Jacob, a steelbook case, a comic of the game's story, and a collectible pin. And there you have it. That was pretty much everything you need to know about the Callisto Protocol. If you want to get a better idea on how this game exactly plays out, then make sure to click on this video here that shows official gameplay for the Callisto Protocol. But anyways guys, that is going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.